Hi, everyone. Welcome again to Ivy English. I'm Bruce.
I'm Angela.
And I'm Wesley.
Today, the 20th of October, we are going to visit Islam, the religion, as well as a very large area of land in Africa and the Middle East. The title of today's lesson is Al-Qarawiyyin Library celebrates women's contributions to Islamic culture.
好，我们的中文标题是世界最老图书馆华丽变身。那当然这个不是英文标题的翻译。
I'll read through the whole lesson right now, and then we'll go back, as we always do, sentence by sentence. In 2012, Moroccan architect Assisa Chaouni received an invitation from Morocco's Ministry of Culture to assess the state of an ancient library in her hometown of Fez. First opened in 859 AD, the Al-Qarawiyyin Library is believed to be the world's oldest library in continuous operation. It was originally founded by Fatima el-Firi, who vowed to spend all the money she had inherited from her father on the construction of a cultural center for her community. The library was the fruit of her efforts. Upon laying eyes on the building, Assisa Chaouni was stunned by its beauty. However, when she entered, she found that the inside told a different story. The library was in a state of severe disrepair, primarily due to centuries of rainwater from the roof of the mosque next door leaking into it, ruining many of the books inside, and also causing long-term structural damage. Over the next few years, Chaouni led a restoration project that included reconstructing the building's foundations, as well as installing air conditioning, solar panels, and a new sewage system. She also had many ancient texts digitized, including a 9th century copy of the Quran written on camel skin. What surprised her was the secret rooms that contained manuscripts written by women. This discovery was significant because Muslim culture traditionally views men as the authoritative ruling class. Through both her discovery and her tireless restoration efforts, Chaouni proved that for centuries, women have played a key role in the development of Islam. Previously, only scholars and researchers had access to it, but the restored Al-Qarawiyyin Library is now open to the public and equipped with an exhibition room and a small cafe. Truly, it is a building that celebrates not only the richness of Muslim culture, but also the contribution of women to human culture as a whole.
So, in 2012, there's a Moroccan architect, and her name is Assisa Chaouni, and she received an invitation. As an architect, one loves an invitation from especially a government ministry, and this was the Morocco's Ministry of Culture. And she was asked to do what? She was asked to assess the state of an ancient library. If you assess something, you figure out you have to analyze it. You have to figure out what's good, what's bad, what's doable, what's not doable. And in this case, she's trying to figure out what's doable about the state that an ancient library is in, like in the condition that it's in. So they want to obviously preserve this library, and she has to decide how preservable is it, what it's going to cost, what it's going to take. And this library is in her hometown of Fez. And Fez is actually a town that's famous for those like little red Arabic hats that are like a flat-topped cone. Mm-hmm. Famously, these hats are made in this town, Fez.
OK, 我们看到在2010年呢，这个摩洛哥这样的一个 architect， 一个建筑师叫做阿兹扎查乌尼。那他怎么样呢？他 received an invitation， 他收到了一个邀请 from 来自哪里的邀请呢？来自于摩洛哥文化部的邀请。那干嘛呢？ To assess 就是去评估一下 The state of something， 那个 state 就是状态 condition， 要评估一下这个状态。什么状态呢？一个 ancient 古老的 library， 一个古老的图书馆啊。这图书馆在哪里呢？在他的家乡，好 Fez 这个地方。那 Fez 这个地方，刚刚 Bruce 跟老师跟这个 Angela 老师讲到，他们那里其实的一种帽子啊，盛产的地方，还有一些装饰品的在这里都盛产。
And geographically, Morocco is the furthest west of the traditional Islamic world that runs from Morocco to Egypt and then into the Middle East all the way to Pakistan and even India.
所以这摩洛哥呢是回教国家在最西边的那一个。
First opened in 859 AD, the Al-Qarawiyyin library is believed to be the world's oldest library in continuous operation.This means from 859 to 2023, this library, Al-Qarawiyyin, people think this is the world's oldest library in continuous operation. That means in 859, you could visit the library. That's over 1,000 years being open all the time.
So there are libraries that are older, but they may have stopped or finished
Good
being
point.
in service. But this one has never closed its doors for more than 1,000 years. Like, holy cow, that's cool.
Yeah, 所以呢 first opened 是被动，就是开放，首次被开放是在859年的时候。那这个其实是个分词构句，那这个 opened 就是这个分词。然后呢，这一个图书馆呢，中文把它翻译成卡鲁因大学图书馆。那它这个图书馆 is believed to be 就据信，大家都相信它是世界上最老的一个图书馆，但重点在后面 in continuous operation 就是持续营运的一个图书馆，最老的。换句话说，确定有比它更老的图书馆，可是这些图书馆后来都没有营运了，或者是被摧毁掉了。那这里注意到这个 in continuous operation， continuous 就是持续的，它是 uninterrupted， 它是没有中断的，持续的。Operation 是营运，所以大家可以想想看，这个图书馆已经开放了超过1000年了，所以这个真的是很大的一个成就。
It was originally founded by Fatima Al-Furi, and so a woman, and she vowed to spend all the money she had inherited from her father on the construction of a cultural center for her community. So she said, you know what we need? We need knowledge, we need a library, we need to educate our people. And she took her inheritance and built this beautiful library.
好，所以 it was originally founded by 就它原本是由谁所创立的 originally 就是原本，它一开始原本是由法蒂玛·菲赫利创立的。那这个人呢，他 vowed to 他发誓要 spend 花费 all the money she had inherited from her father， 他要把他从他父亲那边继承来的钱，所有的钱他都要花在哪里呢？ Spend money on something， 就是花在哪个地方，把这个钱花在哪里呢？把它花在 the construction of， 要把它花在建造这件事情上面。那建造什么呢？ The construction of cultural center， 他要建造一个文化中心 for her community， 为他的社区建造一个文化中心。所以他大概从他爸爸那边继承一大笔钱，让他觉得这个钱花费最有意义的方法就是为他的社区建造一个文化中心。
The library was the fruit of her efforts. The fruit of something means the highest point or the best condition or situation of something.
好，那这个 the fruit of her efforts 其实我们可以把它中文就相当于他努力的成果，所以大家可以把它背起来。某个东西 was the fruit of 某人的 efforts， 所以他努力的成果就是这一个图书馆。
Upon laying eyes on the building, the architect, Aziza Chaouni, was stunned by its beauty. She was like, wow, this is a gorgeous building.
Upon 就当他在做这件事情的时候，做什么事情呢？当他 lay eyes on 就是看到的意思，眼光看到的意思。那这里因为在 upon 的后面，所以 lay 要加 ing。所以 upon laying eyes on 就他一看到这个 building， 一看到这个建筑的时候呢，这查乌尼 was stunned by its beauty。 Stun 就是看了就哇呆住的那种感觉，所以这个图书馆的美看呆了，哇怎么这么美。
However, when she entered, she found that the inside told a different story. So outside, remember, upon laying eyes on the building, so she was outside of it. Wow, look at this building. But when she walked in, it told a different story. This idiom means that the opposite happened or something completely unexpected happened, and you can guess that it was bad.
好，但是呢，当他 entered， 当他进入这个图书馆之后呢，他发现 the inside 就是图书馆的内部 told a different story， 就是说的是另外一个故事。他的意思就是说，进去之后呢，发现是另外一番景象，换句话说，跟他从外面看是完全不同的一件事情，叫做 told a different story。The
library was in a state of severe disrepair. If something is in disrepair, it means that it's not well maintained. It means that it's kind of run down or broken. And in this case, it was severely run down and broken. Why? Primarily due to centuries of rainwater from the roof of the mosque next door. So the building next door was built in such a way that the water ran onto this building.Which is never a good story, but in this case it's been going on for centuries. The water was leaking into the library and ruining many of the books inside, and also causing long-term structural damage. Anyone who's in the building industries knows water is the worst.
水是建筑物的大敌。所以这里看到说，这个图书馆呢 was in a state of 就是在什么样的状态之下 in a state of 它的状态是什么呢？是 severe disrepair。 severe 是严重的， disrepair 就中文讲的失修，就没有修理，就是这个 to be in a condition of being in need of repair， 或者是它就是整个就欠修理了。然后呢，主要原因是什么？ primarily 主要 due to 因为centuries of 就是有数百年的 rainwater， 数百年的雨水。从哪里来的雨水呢？从 the roof of the mosque next door， 从隔壁的那个清真寺 mosque 那个清真寺的屋顶来的雨水。那这个雨水怎么样？来自隔壁清真寺的这个雨水呢，它不但有，而且是 leaking into it， 这漏进了这个图书馆。所以从隔壁的清真寺的屋顶的水呢，就漏进了这个图书馆。那带来的状况，带来的覆水状况，或者是我们用分词来表示，这个结果就是怎么样呢？就是 ruining， 损毁了 many of the books inside， 图书馆里面很多书都因为这样子就损毁了，非常可惜。而且同时 causing 也造成了这些漏进来的雨水也造成了 long-term 长期的 structural damage， 就是图书馆结构上的损坏。
And we should remember that centuries ago, and not that many centuries ago, 150 years ago and earlier, books did not only contain words as they tend to these days. Of course, today you could have photographs or drawings in a book, that's true. But in most cultures that had books going back centuries, the writing that we call calligraphy was an art form in itself, and they used different colors and they painted pictures of things to help people follow the text. So it's not only a loss of information, it's a loss of culture as well.
这个古老的书呢，当然不是用印刷机印的，它是用手来誊写的。那也是一种艺术，而且它里面常常会有一些画，有些图画什么的。所以以前的那些书之所以宝贝，不是因为光是因为单里面的文字而已，也包括里面所蕴含的那些文化还有艺术性。
Over the next few years, Chaouni led a restoration project that included reconstructing the building's foundations, as well as installing air conditioning, solar panels, and a new sewage system. Now, to restore something is to work on it, to bring it back to its original and usually better condition or state. So this building from the outside looked great, but from the inside was almost unusable. So she started with the basics. The foundations of the building had to be rebuilt. We just heard about how water can damage buildings almost as bad as a fire can damage a building. She also installed some modern things like air conditioning, solar panels, and a new sewage system.
好，那 over the next few years， 接下来的几年，就是他去看了之后，接下来的几年呢，这个查乌尼他就带领了一个 restoration project， 他就带领了领导了一个整修的一个专案。 restoration 就是整修，通常就是要整修成原来的样子，甚至比原来更好，这样的一个 project。 那这个专案呢，就是 project， 它 included 包含了 reconstructing 重新建造这个建筑物的 foundations， 他把这个地基重新做过一遍，让它更稳固。As well as 他也还做了什么呢？他也 installing， 他装设了一些新的东西，他装设了空调，装设了太阳能板，最重要的可能是他还装了一个新的 sewage system， 就是污水系统，所以以后真的他就可以有这个现代化的这个洗手间了。
She also had many ancient texts digitized. If you digitize something, it means that you basically take pictures of it in a certain way. You scan it so that the information can be stored as pictures in a computer. And one of the books that was digitized, or texts, included a 9th century copy of the Quran. The Quran is Islam's holy book. And this Quran was written on camel skin, which is honestly a very durable thing to write a book upon. So this copy of the Quran also got digitized.
那它也怎么样呢？ Had 在这里是使役动词，它的受词是 many ancient texts。它把很多古老的文本呢，让他们怎么样 digitized， 让他们数位化了。所以 to have something 后面加一个 VPP， 一个过去分词，就表示让这些东西被怎么样了。所以他在这里的意思就是他让很多的古老的文本被数位化了。英文是这样讲，中文的话通常就讲他数位化了很多古老的版本，一些文本。那包括什么样？包括了一本9世纪的 copy， 就是一个抄本，或者是一个就是一本的意思，是9世纪的古兰经。那它是抄写在怎么样骆驼皮上面，所以这个很珍贵。
What surprised her was the secret rooms that contained manuscripts written by women. When we say that something surprised somebody, it means this is unexpected. We didn't realize about this situation or condition. There were secret rooms in this apparently very large old library that contained manuscripts.You can think of books and maps, for example, written by women. And in today's Muslim world, although it's changing, women are separated from men when they go into a temple to worship, and men are given more favors and more advantages over women. So it was a surprise to this modern architect that...There were manuscripts written by women that could still be saved and digitized or whatever in order for other people and people from different...
They were kept secret. That's why they were able to be saved.
Exactly. They were secret, but now we know.
好，所以 what surprised her 就让她很惊讶的 was 是什么事情呢？是 the secret rooms， 这个有一些密室，而且不止一间。那这些密室有什么特色呢？这些密室 that contained 就是包含，也就是说它有存放 manuscripts 一些手抄本，或者是这个一些手稿 written by women 由女性所写的一些手稿啊，这个非常不简单。它底下会告诉我们为什么这个会让我们觉得很讶异，因为居然找到了一些密室，里面也放了一些女性所写的一些手稿。
This discovery was significant. This was an unusual thing to find out, also very meaningful, because Muslim culture traditionally views men as the authoritative ruling class. This is a nice way of saying that men are in charge and women are considered second class. This is not special to Muslim culture. This is true across the world. Women's knowledge, women's writing, women's scholarship has always traditionally been suppressed for centuries and millennia. So the fact that this library, opened by a woman, had secret rooms for women's knowledge to be collected and saved is very meaningful to me.
好，那这个发现呢 was significant 很重要 important 为什么呢？因为这个回教的文化呢 traditionally 传统上面 views man 看视男性为 views A as B 就是视 A 为 B 所以 views man as 就是把男性视为什么呢？视为 the authoritative ruling class authoritative 就是具有权威的 ruling class 就是统治阶级，所以这个女性本来是没什么地位的，很多地方都一样，但是回教文化里面这也是一个特色，就男性是主导的，所以看到这么多女性写的东西被留下来，这个很不得了。
Through both her discovery and her tireless restoration efforts, her discovery of these secret rooms, and she's spending a lot of her money and most of her time trying to restore this library. Chaouni proved that for centuries, women have played a key role in the development of Islam, and maybe these books will show us how.
好，那 through 透过他的发现，也透过了他的 tireless， 就是不懈的、不休不倦的。所以呢，这个他透过他不懈的一些 restoration efforts 修复的努力，也就是透过他努力的修复，这个孜孜不倦的修复。那他怎么样呢？他 proved that 他证实了 for centuries 数世纪以来，女性 have played a key role， 就是这个扮演了关键性的角色。在哪里扮演关键性的角色呢？ In the development of Islam， 在这个回教的发展上面 development， 在回教的发展上面，数世纪以来，女性扮演了关键性的角色。
Previously, only scholars and researchers had access to it. So before, only people who were connected to research and study were able to use this building. But the restored Al-Qarawiyyin library is now open to the public, meaning your average person like you and I can go visit it. Also, it is equipped with an exhibition room and a small cafe. An exhibition room means like there's a place where they can hold special exhibitions of like you can take certain books from the collection and put them specially on display, or outside people can maybe do artworks in there. And a cafe. You can't have a museum without a cafe.
And Morocco has great coffee.
Yes.
Yeah. 好，所以呢 previously 就是先前早先呢只有学者还有 researchers 研究人员 had access to it. It 就是指这个图书馆。had access to 就是可以进去，所以以前只有学者跟研究人员可以进到这个图书馆。但是呢 the restored 这个修复之后的，这个是被动，它被修复了，所以已经修复之后的这个卡鲁因大学图书馆呢 is now open to the public， 现在已经对大众开放了。 The public 就是大众 is now open to the public， 而且呢 is equipped with 它具有什么的设备，也就是它里面有了什么东西，有了 an exhibition room 一个展览室，也有一个 a small cafe 一个小的咖啡厅。
Truly, it is a building that celebrates not only the richness of Muslim culture, but also the contribution of women to human culture as a whole. So certainly, truly, this old building, this library, celebrates not only the richness of Muslim culture because of its architecture, its art, its scientific studies. Most of the stars' names, for example, are in Arabic, and quite a few of the constellations as well. They were the culture which most deeply went into the study of astronomy. Algebra is not Islamic, is a Muslim word.
Well, basically, the Mediterranean in the 9th century was the center of the world for science and knowledge. Like, people calculated the circumference of the world. People knew...
Well, that was much earlier.
Well, okay, but I mean, that level of sort of scientific discovery was just commonplace. Almost everything that Europe learned about the world was actually stuff that they learned from the Middle East.
And North Africa.
Yep.
Okay, finishing here, the richness of Muslim culture, we just spoke a bit about that in sciences, in physiology and health, medicine, and so on, especially the contribution of women to human culture as a whole, because as we learned earlier, not only in the Muslim world, but women were sort of in the back seat and men were driving the cars of government and culture and business.
Yeah, 好，所以我们看一下最后这句 truly 就是 indeed 的确 it is a building 这个图书馆是一个建筑，这个建筑怎么样 that celebrates 颂赞歌颂，它不只颂赞了 the richness of Muslim culture， 不但颂赞了这个伊斯兰文化的丰富性，而且它也颂赞了这 contribution 就是贡献，这个女性的贡献，贡献给谁呢？女性对于 human culture 对于人类文化的贡献，而且是 as a whole 用来修饰这个 human culture， 就是女性对于整体的人类文化的贡献，所以这个图书馆非常重要。
Okay, we have just a few questions here for you at the end of the program. The first is, how was Fatima al-Fihri able to build the original Al-Qarawiyyin library?
好，所以这个菲赫利他是如何能够建立最初的卡鲁因大学图书馆呢？
The answer is she used her entire inheritance from her father to build the library. The money she got from her father, she invested into building the library.
Yeah， 好，所以这个句子呢，就是说他用他整个的 inheritance， 就是这个继承来的东西。那在这里指的是继承来的钱，从他父亲那里继承来的这个所有的钱，他都花在建造这个图书馆上。
And number 2, which word in the passage means a poor condition due to lack of care?
好，那文中哪一个字的意思是 a poor condition due to lack of care?
And that word is disrepair.
好，那这个字就是 disrepair。Number
3, check one of these 4 boxes. What modern updates were added to improve the Al-Qarawiyyin library?
好，所以请勾选为了改善卡鲁因大学图书馆而加入的现代更新版的事物。
And you should have checked devices that generate energy from the sun.
就太阳能板，也就是用太阳产生能源的装置。
And number 4, which of the following people may be talking about the Al-Qarawiyyin library?
以下哪些人可能是在谈论卡鲁因大学图书馆？这是多选题。
And we have 2. We have Ivan at B, who says, besides the comfortable indoor space, it's perfect that I can also enjoy coffee there. My sentiments exactly. And then we also have answer D, where Helen says, in the library, I find not only physical books, but also digital ones.
好，所以答案是 B 跟 D 都可以。B 是艾文，他说除了舒适的室内空间，我在那里还可以享用咖啡，真是太完美了，这是正确的。D Helen 他说在那座图书馆里面，我发现不只有实体书，还有电子书，因为我们看到他把它这个书都 digitized。
Okay, that's it for today's program. Thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.